Good morning, everyone. Welcome to yet another meeting of Blue Quest. We are a club based out of District 41, which encompasses India, Nepal, Bhutan, Bangladesh. When I say India, I mean North and East India. I am Rupinder and I'm happy to be the Sergeant at Arms for today. I'll start by reciting the club mission statement. We provide a supportive and positive learning experience in which members are empowered to develop communication and leadership skills, resulting in greater self-confidence and personal growth. We're now inside the code of conduct of a Toastmasters meeting. Please be advised that this meeting is being recorded and it may not be possible to pause the recording. The following are the meeting rules. Please be advised that any behavior that disturbs the flow of the meeting will result in removal from the meeting room without any warning. Please ensure that your noise making devices are either switched off or on silent mode. I'll give you about 10 seconds to confirm that. Thank you. Please speak responsibly on religion, sex, and politics in your speeches. As far as possible, keep your videos on, audio off, and applause flowing throughout. Toastmaster of the day, table topics master, and general evaluator. Please ensure a smart audio video check before handing over to the respective role players. Role players, please rename yourself as role player hyphen your name hyphen your club name. You may omit the club name if you are a member of Blue Quest. Please reacquaint yourself with the role of the timer. The timer will either use the background change or screen sharing to indicate time using one of the three cards. Green means that you've reached the minimum qualifying time. Yellow means that it's a good time to start concluding. Red specifies that you have 30 seconds or more or you will be disqualified. Individual session timings will be explained in due course. Zoom behaviors, we encourage you to use the Zoom emoticons generously, just like I applauded for myself. We sincerely request not to send chat messages to the speaker on stage. In fact, try to refrain from chatting altogether and focus on the speaker. Reiterating, please stay on mute until specifically requested to unmute. Polls will be launched after each section and they will be closed after 30 seconds. If I was to summarize these rules, be the kind of audience you want to be for yourself. And now I would like to introduce the presiding officer. In many ways, I relate to the presiding officer when I compare the color of our hair. And I can tell you that he's being graying at the same rate as I have. Being a president can be a taxing task, which is good for him since he happens to be a chartered accountant and should know his way around taxes. Well, I'm not here to talk about taxes, and neither is he. He is here to introduce you all to our club. May I request a special round of applause for Toastmaster Kapil Kakkar.
Thank you. Good morning, Rupinder, and good morning, all the members and the guests. I welcome all the members and the guests in our meeting number 553. I see we have few guests in our meeting today. Naveen, Taj, Lakshmi, Natasha. Wow, good to see you after such a long time. Okay, so I will come back to you in the later section of the meeting for your feedback. It's time for me to make an announcement or rather give you one update. It is regarding our EC training. So we all have completed our TLI 1, TLI 2, I mean all EC members. Amit, for you, there is one screenshot pending, so you need to provide me that so that I can share it with our area director. And similarly for Vikas also, I am awaiting one screenshot, though I already told him that all our officers have attended that training. Now it's time to start the meeting, and starting before I introduce our team mode, I would like to state one fact about this guy. First of all, he is joining us after quite a long time, and this guy, in today's world, this guy is not addicted to WhatsApp. When everybody is so addicted and so used to using WhatsApp. This guy does not use WhatsApp. And that is why I did not send him any WhatsApp message to inquire about his hobbies, his passion, because I was scared that he will not reply. So I have not have enough of his past. So I will let Amit to take up this virtual stage and run the meeting. Amit, please welcome Amit on this virtual stage, ladies and gentlemen.
Am I audible? Am I visible? Guru Gobind do khade, kaake lagu paए, balihari guru aapne, Govind diyo bataye. That's a famous couplet by Saint Kabir Das of India. It means the spiritual teacher or guru is even greater than God. He says that if the teacher and God both are standing in front of me, who will I greet first? He then says, it is only because of my teacher that I know and I'm able to see God. Hence, I will greet my teacher first. Belated Happy Teachers Day. Thank you, Toastmaster couple, for the introduction. I'll try checking my WhatsApp a little more often. And it's my pleasure to serve as the Toastmaster for the day today. Before getting deeper into the theme of the day, let me explain the agenda for the meeting to the guests that we have. Toastmasters meetings are generally divided into 3 sections. The prepared speeches section, the table topics section, and the evaluation and the feedback section. Today, in our prepared speeches section, we would have 3 prepared speeches. Our table topics section would be conducted by distinguished Toastmaster Rupinder Singh. And to end it all, we'll have our evaluation section, which will be headed by Toastmaster Elisha Snyder. Teachers' Day in India is celebrated yearly on 5th of September to mark the birth anniversary of Dr. Sarvepalli Radhakrishnan. It is said that Dr. Radhakrishnan, after assuming presidency, was once asked by his friends and students to come out for celebration of his birthday. In his response, he mentioned that instead of celebrating my birthday should be celebrated as Teachers' Day. Ever since, India has been celebrating 5th of September each year as Teachers' Day. I would now like to call upon the headmistress, aka General Evaluator, and her team to come and explain their roles. Over to you, Toastmaster Elisa.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster of the Day. Now, as General Evaluator, we will be having an evaluation later on, and we will be accompanied by several role players who are going to be watching throughout the meeting to ensure that we can present with quality and effectiveness. Now, the difference between an evaluator and a teacher is that today we will not be teachers, but we will all be students in the School of Life and of Public Speaking. And to do that, I would like to call on our 3 tag team members who will each explain their roles and let you know how they are going to help us be better students of public speaking. For that, I would like to call first on our timer, Sumangal, to explain her role and what she will be looking out for today. Over to you, Sumangal. You're on mute.
Thank you, General Evaluator. Hello, fellow Toastmasters and distinguished guests. I'm the timer of the day, and I'll be responsible to keep the track of the time taken by various speakers and role players. Typically, a prepared speech is timed for 5 to 7 minutes, and I'll show the green card at 5 minutes, the yellow card at 6 minutes, and the red card at 7 minutes. There is a grace period of 30 seconds on either side. I request speech evaluators to apprise me if the speech time is different from 5 to 7 minutes. For table topics, each speaker is required to speak for 1 to 2 minutes. I'll show the green card at 1 minute, the yellow card at 1 minute 30 seconds, the red card at 2 minutes. Table topic speakers have a grace period of 30 seconds per class side. Speech evaluators are allotted 2-3 minutes for evaluation. The green card will be shown at 2 minutes, the yellow card at 2 minutes 30 seconds, and the red card at 3 minutes. There is a grace period of 30 seconds on either side. Please note that as a timer, I'll keep the cards up until the speaker stops speaking, unless otherwise instructed by the Toastmaster of the day or general evaluator. I will provide no signal, verbal or non-verbal, to indicate that your time is up. Any speaker who finishes before or after the grace period will not be considered. I'll submit my report at the end of the evaluation session, and I'll be showing the cards as the background. Thank you. And back to the general evaluator.
Thank you so much, Sumangal, for explaining so thoroughly what your role will be and how you will be helping us to be better students in today's meeting. Up next, I would like to call on Sumit, who will be our op counter for the day, to explain his role and let you know what we can all be paying attention to. Over to you, Sumit.
Hello, everyone. Today, as an R counter, I would not teach anything, but I will help you learn something, that the courage words that we use in our day-to-day language as a pause filler impact the quality of our speeches. And there I will help you out to identify that how many of these you use and what kind of crutch words you use in your speeches. And I will be noting them down, and I will present my report when called upon by general evaluator towards the end of the meeting. Over to you, Alicia. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sumit. We are so happy to have you with us because Oz and Ums are definitely something to keep an eye on. And last but not least, we have our grammarian for the day, Pratima, who will be explaining her role and giving us the word of the day to look out for. Over to you, Pratima.
Thank you, Elisa. Am I audible?
You are.
Thank you so much, and hello, everyone. So I'm playing the role of the grammarian today, and as the name of the role suggests, I will be watching out for the grammar usage by all the speakers. So I will be exceptionally attentive to make note of the good usage and the not so good usage of grammar. And since it's also my duty to present the word of the day, and we have a very interesting theme of Teachers' Day today, so the word of the day aligns with the theme. The word of the day is pedagogy. I repeat, the word of the day is pedagogy. Now, pedagogy as a word means the art and the science of teaching something, or the art and science of how something is taught. Pedagogy also means the method and practice by which something is taught. Let me explain this better with some examples. Schools that have child-centered pedagogy are better than those that have teacher-centered pedagogy. My second example would be, in today's world, it's best to keep pace with the pedagogy so that students are prepared for the real world. I will be presenting my report at the end of the session. Thank you so much. And I will also be putting the word of the day in my background. So back to you, Elisa. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Pratima. And hopefully we can all use a little bit of pedagogy in our expressions of the day. With that, we have concluded this section. At the end, we will all be presenting reports. I will also be presenting a report of the meeting and evaluation of the meeting overall and how we did in each aspect that we are taking into consideration. I hope you thoroughly enjoy it. And with that, I'll see you at the end and hand it back over to our Toastmaster of the day, Amit Tandon.
Thank you, Toastmaster Elisa. When I was attending school, Teachers' Day was supposed to be a lot of fun. It was this one fun-filled day. To start off, school was half day. We were supposed to decorate our classrooms, and to top it all off, there was no one who was supposed to teach. No classes for that particular day. And no classes, they were the best words to come to us. Wait, we did have teachers. Teachers in the form of seniors, students from class 11th and 12th who used to come as substitutes and conduct the actual periods as they happened. I would now like to call upon distinguished Toastmaster Raj Mehta to deliver the level 3 speech, the accident for the path. The accident for the path, effective coaching under the project using descriptive language. He will be evaluated by Toastmaster Naveen Parwal. Over to you, distinguished Toastmaster Raj Mehta.
You're not audible.
You're not audible.
You're very faintly audible, Raj.
Am I audible now?
Much better.
It was Am I audible now?
You're audible.
Oh, thank you. It was 9th October in 1995, the 5th year of my marriage with Suman, a lady with a real golden heart. We were all together to celebrate my niece Sania's 6th birthday. We were on the 2nd floor of a residential building owned by my parents. And the 2nd floor housed my brother's family. Only Suman was not there at that moment because she had gone to attend her duty at the Northern Railway Central Hospital near Connaught Place, which was around 13 kilometers away. And we were waiting for her so that she would come and have a taste of real heaven, that is the birthday cake. As happy as a skylark, we were chatting amongst ourselves when suddenly our immediate neighbor shouted from the ground floor. We bent on the window and looked down. He said, "Raj, I got a phone call from some unknown person. He was saying that your wife Suman has met with an accident." I and my brother immediately sprinted in his second-hand blue Fiat car to the accident spot. The accident spot was Deshbandhu Gupta roundabout. Deshbandhu Gupta has two-way roads on all the 4 sides. When we reached there, I found that there was a crowd of around 50 people. We stopped our car and got out of the car and approached towards my wife. My wife was half laying and half sitting with her back resting against an electric pole. From her face, I could feel that she had having a pain. I also felt that she was not comfortable. I went close to her, sat down, put my hand on her head, and gave her a smile. She started crying loud and then louder. I just consoled her. I said that I was there, not to worry anything now. She just gestured that she was not feeling comfortable, either due to the crowd of the people. Most of them were gents and they were asking various questions. And she was not able to respond to their answer to questions. I gestured my brother to disperse the crowd, which he hurriedly did. After some time, I said, when he felt that Suman had relaxed, okay, let's go home. Sunny is waiting for you to cut the cake. Suman started sobbing again. She said, Raj, I am having pain in my left elbow. I feel that the bone has broken. And the pain is so much that even the pain will have pain. Let's go back to hospital. I need treatment. Up till now, I was thinking that it was a normal accident which had dropped my wife from her scooter and she had got frightened. But now I felt that it was much more than that. My wife raised her hands and asked her to help her lift her up. My brother on the one side and I on the other side supported my wife, lifted her up, made her stand, and then supported her in walking up to the car. During the journey from the accident spot to the hospital, we all kept mum, even though there were thousands of questions unanswered roaming in our head and heart. Intermittently, my wife complained some mysterious pain at the lower end of her stomach. When we reached hospital, we immediately entered into the casualty ward. The doctor on duty, Dr. Poonam Jha, started treatment of my wife immediately. She inspected her body and found that there were some bruises on her right-left ankles. Then she got the X-ray of the elbow done and declared that the elbow arm had already broken. She said that Suman would require a plaster for 3 weeks. Since Suman is the staff member of the hospital, everything was arranged within the casualty ward. When a doctor did the plaster and with a bend at the elbow, she also put a splint made up of brown cotton piece. After next day, that is in the evening, we were allowed to go home, but with strict instructions that there should not be any jerk or the movement on the elbow. It took more than 3 weeks. To be precise, 4 weeks in getting someone totally treated. And when she felt comfortable, after one month, we went again back to the hospital and got the plaster cut and removed. She was not having any pain. She was fully treated. By the time when we were just about to leave, we overheard Dr. Poonam Jha telling another doctor that a 2-month fetus, about which even Suman didn't know anything, had died in that accident. Over to the Toastmaster.
Thank you, Toastmaster, distinguished Toastmaster Raj. That was a wonderful speech. I would request the audience to please give feedback to Raj in the form of personal chat messages. I would also request the timer to time us for the next 1 minute for this activity. Teaching as a concept has moved leaps and bounds today. Earlier, teaching was restricted to a handful of individuals known as teachers, tuition teachers, coaching institutes, etc., etc. With technology where it is, where you can record a video, share it with the entire world, share it with people whom you want to share it with technology where it is, everyone has now learned the scope to become a teacher. And instead of having the audience as a few students, he has the vast canvas of the entire world to teach now. Topics under purview of teaching have increased from math, science, language, literature, history, to now teachers and guides teaching us how to build startups, learn horticulture, and a lot of this information is coming to us freely in the form of videos accessible to all through various modes on social media, on various other devices, on various other mediums of information transfer. Our next speech is by distinguished Toastmaster Saurendra Bhomik. It's a level 3 speech, Grandmom's Tale, for the PATH team collaboration under the project Connect with Storytelling. I would like to call upon the evaluator, Toastmaster Lakshmi, to please read out the speech objectives for Toastmaster, for distinguished Toastmaster Saurendra Bhomik. Timer, please note that this will be an 8 to 10 minute speech instead of the regular 5 to 7 minute speech. Over to you, Toastmaster Lakshmi.
Good morning, Toastmaster Amit Tandon. It's a pleasure hearing from you, and it's a pedagogy listening to DT, distinguished Toastmaster Saurendra Bhomik's speech today. He's going to give us a level 3, project 3, under the PATH team collaboration, and it's going to be on the project storytelling. Timer, please, again, I insist the timings are 8 to 10 minutes. Please note on the timing. Back to you, Toastmaster of the day. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Lakshmi. Distinguished Toastmaster Saurendra Bhomik, can we have an audio video check?
Yeah, can you see me?
Yes.
And can you hear me?
Yes.
Thank you.
Over to you, distinguished Toastmaster Saurendra Bhomik.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Toastmasters, today I have a severe backache, and therefore I will not be able to stand up and deliver the speech. Please excuse me for that. My grandmother was a master storyteller. It was my granny who was the pedigree for my storytelling skills. I would like to take all of you down memory lane and reduce many, many years in your age to be able to hear the story that I heard from her and which has resonated in my mind over the years. In a small village, in those good old days, there was this young man, a good for nothing, who was staying with his mother. If you went into the market, you would often see Khan sitting around and see the world go by and do nothing about it. One day, people saw him sitting at the sweetmeat shop and clapping in the air, clapping away, and then picking up something and dropping it down. This went on for quite some time, and people were intrigued. Well, what was this guy doing? So people gathered and looked around and asked him, Khan, what are you doing? What is this that you're doing? And Khan smiled and said, look, I'm killing mosquitoes. People said, mosquitoes? He says, yes, see how many mosquitoes I have killed. And there, lined on the floor, were a whole lot of mosquitoes. The people were amazed. So many mosquitoes? And then they started counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 10, 12, 14. And it kept going on and on and on. And then there were 30 mosquitoes that he had killed. And since he was a good for nothing, people said, wow, he's done something today. So let's rename him as Tis Mar Khan, which is Tis is 30, Mar is kill. So now he was rechristened as Tis Mar Khan. A couple of days after that, his mother told him to go to that village across the jungle where his cousin was getting married. And Tismar Khan's mother made some delicious sweets for him and wrapped it into a cloth bundle so that he could eat it on the way. But while she was cooking it, a lizard fell into the sweets, and the mother did not know about it, nor did Tismar Khan. And the next morning, the bundle was handed over to him, and Tismar Khan was off to the next village through the jungle. And as he was walking across, looking at the flowers, the trees, suddenly he heard a loud sound. He was afraid. He turned around and he saw an elephant charging towards him. Tismar Khan didn't know what to do. He dropped his bundle and ran for his life. And then suddenly, he heard the elephant was running very slowly and was now chasing that bundle which was there on the ground. The elephant picked up the bundle and started eating it. Tismar Khan was so worried that he didn't have anything to eat now. But suddenly, the elephant collapsed because of the poison in the sweets. Tismar Khan now realized that he had done something, and after all, he was Tismar Khan. So he turned around, went to the elephant and started punching it left, right, center. And then the king's soldiers who were chasing the elephant through the jungle came there and saw Tismar Khan punching the elephant. And they were so impressed. Oh my God, Tismar Khan had attacked and punched the elephant to submission. The word went round, and very soon the king heard about it. Tismar Khan was called, and the soldiers related all that they had seen. And Tismar Khan was now given the title of the bravest man on earth. And the king then presented him a bag full of golden coins. Oh my God, he was now the man sought about in the world around him. A few months went by, and then people heard that a lion had entered the village. Everyone was scared and they were staying indoors. But at the same time, it was raining very heavily. It was raining so much that the place got flooded. Tismarka, who was sitting at the marketplace, thought this was the time to go back home because he didn't know what to do. So, totally oblivious to the lion which was there, Tismarka started walking towards home. But Tismarka said, in this flooded road, how will I walk back home? Why don't you go to the washerman and request him to give him his donkey so that I could sit on it and reach home? So he trudged along towards the washerman's home to take the donkey. Meanwhile, the lion was standing in the darkness just outside the farmerman's house. And the farmerman's wife said, you know, I'm very scared about the lion. It could eat us, it could attack us. But the washerman said, forget it, I'm more worried about Tapka. Tapka, which is actually heavy rains in the local language. The lion heard it and he was worried that Tapka must be one of those very dangerous creatures. And he was scared. Tismar Khan came to the washerman's house in the darkness, mistakenly thought that the lion was the donkey. It was quite late at night, and so he chose not to disturb the washerman and thought he would return the donkey the next day morning. Tismar Khan jumped onto the lion, grabbed its ears, and started moving the lion towards his house. The lion, thinking that it was Tapka, the dangerous creature, didn't say anything and followed the orders. Once at home, Tismar Khan tied the lion to the doorpost, made it sit down, and then slept off, resting his head on the back of the lion. Next day morning, his mother came out and saw the lion and she screamed. The screaming woke up the lion, and so did Tismar Khan get up. The lion roared, "Wow!" And then Tismar Khan ran. He ran again and ran behind a tree. But he suddenly realized that he had tied the lion to the doorpost, so he was not worried. He got back and then he told the lion, do you know, I'm the bravest man on this earth. Again, the king heard about it. And the king was so impressed that he made him the general of his army. So now Tismar Khan had become a general. Time went by, and suddenly the neighborhood kingdom attacked Tismar Khan's kingdom. Tismar Khan had to now lead his army to the war. So on the day of the battle, Tismar Khan tied himself to an elephant and took a fire torch in his hand and made his elephant stand under a tree at the back of the army. Just when the shout for the attack came about. The fire torch heat disturbed the honeycomb on the tree under which Tismar Khan was standing. The bees attacked Tismar Khan's elephant. The elephant now started running. They were so scared and they started running. Tismar Khan, afraid to fall off the elephant, got hold of a nearby tree in his right hand. But the elephant was crazy because of the bee bites. And it again ran. And this time, it just uprooted the tree which was on the right hand of Tismar Khan. Tismar Khan tried to hold himself, held on to another tree on his left hand. And this time, the tree again got uprooted. And the elephant just charged towards the enemy. The scene was very scary. The elephant was running alone with a man sitting on it, holding two trees in its two arms. The enemy army was scared and it ran helter-skelter. They broke their rank and formation and ran away. The battle was won without even any fighting. The king was overjoyed. And he now gave his only child, his daughter, in marriage to Tismar Khan. Tismar Khan now was the heir to the throne. This story makes us realize when God is kind, even a good for nothing can become the future king. But amongst the men, how many of you are looking for your princess? But then, before you look for that, remember, you have to kill those 30 mosquitoes. Over to you, Toastmaster of the day. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster, the distinguished Toastmaster Saurendra. That was a wonderful speech. I would now like to request the timer to time us for the next 1 minute for the audience to give feedback to distinguished Toastmaster Saurendra Bhowmik in the form of personal chat messages. Timer. Thank you so much, Sumangal. Both my parents are teachers. My mom has been teaching for close to 35 years, and my dad heads the training institute. Along with all the teaching that they have imparted to me and my brother to help us stand where we are today. Growing up, I was always a very cranky student, Today, I would do anything to be taught. Teaching or teachers are the only people who make you learn first and make you give examinations later. Life in general is about giving examinations first and getting taught later. With this, I would like to call upon Toastmaster Khushbu to deliver their level 3 speech, My Journey to Achieve Self-Confidence, for the path innovative planning under the project Focus on the Positive, option 2. She'll be evaluated by Toastmaster Kapil. I would like to request Toastmaster Kapil to please read out the speech objectives.
Thank you, Toastmasters Amit. Khushbu's speech length is 5 to 7 minutes, and the purpose of this project is for the member to practice being aware of his or her thoughts and feelings, as well as the impact of his or her responses on the others. The purpose of this speech is for the member to share his or her experience completing the project. All the best, Khushbu. Over to you.
Kapil. Is the timer pinned? I can't see the timer. Or can you pin the timer for me? Because I've logged in from my phone.
Over to you, Toastmaster Khushbu. Can we have a small audio video check?
Am I audible?
Yeah.
Okay. One and a half years ago, a mail has come on my inbox. IIM Ahmedabad.ci.co. Dear Khushbu, we are glad to inform you that you are selected for the Women Entrepreneurship Program sponsored by IIM Ahmedabad.ci.co, Rajasthan wing. I'm selected. Kindly be present on Monday at 2 p.m. The Zoom link is provided below with your introduction presentation and a brief introduction about your business in the PPT format attached here. Logo. I don't have any logo. Business registered or not? No. Sales figure of last year. I've always written in a diary and I don't have it. What is the level of business? Incubation, acceleration, or stagnant? What does these terms mean? With that mail, I became nervous. I started telling to myself, I can't do it. I don't have the potential. I am not IIM material. And with these thoughts, I went to the washroom, I freshened up, I washed my face, and I looked at myself in the mirror. And the woman in the mirror told me, Khushbu, are you seriously let go of this opportunity because of your regular pattern of self-doubt? Boss, I am not IIM material. What is an IIM material, Khushbu? The ones who get 100 out of 100 in maths, the cream of the country, the most intellectual people of the country. I am 40 out of 100. I am not. Khushbu, sit. Let's go back to 2006. When you got your first job, you were not qualified for your job, but still in 6 months of probation period, you put your heart and soul into it and you excelled in your job, and within a span of 3 years, you became the head of department. Yeah. Okay. When you were pregnant and you started learning about storytelling, did you know anything about storytelling? Today, you are a qualified speech and drama teacher from Trinity College, London, and you're a storyteller. You have trained so many children and uplifted so many teenagers. Schools invite you for work. Yes, you are right. But... Okay, listen, you have been selected out of the you are one of the 270 people who have been selected out of the 1,000 applicants. And moreover, The selectors are not fool. You have appeared for an interview. They have done the background check. They have faith in your idea. So what is the worry all about? And it is not an MBA, it is just an entrepreneurship program, that too for a year. And now it is online. And if you don't know these terms, they will teach you. That is why you're going. So have faith in yourself. You have succeeded so much. Look at yourself from where you started and where you are today. Give yourself a pat. Khushbu, come on, you can do it. Yes, I can do it. Yes, yes, I can do it. I love you. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I am Khushbu Chokhani, and I have witnessed extremities in my life, both in terms of happy beginnings and happy life, and in soul-weakening incidences. These soul-weakening incidences has never let me build my self-confidence. For example, I lost my father at an early age. From the age of 12, I've been taking judgments for everyone around that you are not good enough, you can't do it, you are a girl. You should be getting married by the time you are 19 and 20. All these incidences never let me build my self-confidence. Yes, self-confidence is a skill, is a quality that you build from childhood to teenager to an adulthood with repetitive incidences, but I never got that opportunity. My journey of self-awareness that my self-confidence is extremely low began when I was pregnant. And when I was pregnant, I came to know that I am not good enough. There is some problem with me. I need to work on these mental challenges that I'm facing. So what is it? I didn't know how to build my self-confidence, my dear friends. And it was then when I started reading storybooks. And these storybooks were the first step who have helped me to explore myself internally. Then I introduced myself to journaling. And with journaling, every day, every thought that I used to write on paper, I came to know my regular pattern where all I'm making mistakes, causes that triggers me to shout, to react, causes that forces me to react, not to respond, causes which are responsible for this low self-confidence. And from awareness stage, I took a long time to accept the fact that I suffer from this anxiety of low self-confidence. And from that acceptance level to gradually taking steps to take continuous efforts to build my self-confidence, I have covered a long journey, a miles-long journey from I am not good enough to I am good enough. And today I am enough. I am proud of myself. So with that note, I would like to request you only two things. If you ever feel that you are not confident, if you ever doubt yourself, take a paper, write down why are you feeling that you are not confident. Write down where is it coming from, which past incident or which childhood incident is forcing you to believe that you are not confident. And then simultaneously list down 5 success that you have achieved in your life, possibly the difficult success. And then tell yourself that if you can achieve this, you can definitely achieve this. And secondly, never tell anyone that they lack confidence. Because when you tell someone that you lack confidence, you're actually weakening their soul. Words have the power to build someone and to destroy someone. Use the evaluation techniques that are taught in Toastmasters pathways and give them constructive ways to elevate their self-confidence, positive ways to upgrade their confidence. And that's what I have learned from this project. Focus on your positive. Thank you. Over to you, Toastmaster.
That was a wonderful speech by Toastmaster Khushbu Chokhani. I would like to now request the audience to please give full feedback to Khushbu in the form of personal chat messages. Request the timer to time us for this activity for the next 1 minute.
Minute is over.
This brings me to my most annoying memory back from school. The teacher, as students, we used to gaze out of the window because somehow the tree outside the window was always more mesmerizing than what was being taught inside. And the teacher used to catch us and ask questions. With this, I would like to call upon distinguished Toastmaster Rupinder Singh to catch us Toastmasters and give us table topics to relive the same memory. Over to you, distinguished Toastmaster Rupinder Singh.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the meeting. We will now get started with table topics. This is the section where I pick and choose my target and I snipe at them from a distance. And it seems we do not have too much attendance, so expect to be called at any time. I will start with the speech evaluators. I will start with the speech evaluator who did not get to explain the speech objectives. Toastmaster Naveen Parwal, I'm adding you to the spotlight. I am also adding Sumangal to the spotlight. Toastmaster Naveen, are you ready?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes, loud and clear, sir. Okay, here comes your topic, and I'm going to copy paste it into the chat box as well. Toastmaster Naveen, teaching what counts is more important than teaching to count. Teaching what counts is more important than teaching to count. Toastmaster Naveen.
Fellow Toastmasters, it has been said that not everything that counts in this world is countable. And not everything that is countable counts. Yes, there are a lot of things in our life that are not taught in any educational institutes, yet the biggest institute of our life is the time which teaches us a lot of things. And of course, there are times when it comes that why was I not taught this thing when I was young? Let me give you an example. For example, when I joined Toastmasters 10 years ago, I had one of the greatest regret that why did I not join Toastmaster 20 years ago? I would have become a much better communicator by now. I would have been much more impactful. I would have been much more influential. But nevertheless, it is never too late to learn. I realized it much late in my life. And when I learned that, at that time, I took up the initiative of not having regret for anything. Just an example, last year when the pandemic occurred, and I was stranded out here in Singapore for almost 18 months now, 20 months now. So I decided I will learn things which I couldn't learn in my childhood. So I'm learning still how to sing a song, maybe classical Indian song, Bollywood songs. And I'm learning a lot of other things. For example, how to improve my health, how to do yoga more effectively. And luckily, through Zoom platform, it is easy to connect to anyone in the world and the best of the minds, and the best of the skilled people. So friends, teaching what counts is much more important than teaching to count. Of course, because what counts in your life can be performed if you have the will to take up new skills at any phase of life. And remember, it is never too late to learn. It is all in the mind. Over to you, Table Topic Master.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Naveen. Next, I would want Toastmaster Lakshmi to step up for a table topic, please. Toastmaster Lakshmi, are you ready?
Yes, please. Table topics master. Good morning.
Okay. Toastmaster Lakshmi, your topic coming up on your screen. So on the chat. Toastmaster Lakshmi, to teach is to learn twice over. To teach is to learn twice over. Before you begin, the word of the day is pedagogy. Over to you, Toastmaster Lakshmi.
Thank you, Table Topics Master. Who else can understand this topic better than me when I have 3 teachers in my family? My mother is a teacher, my uncle is a teacher, and of course, my brother is also a teacher. I mean, I can say that my mother is every day she had been not only teaching, but had been learning the life of the people. Because I could understand on one particular day when she was getting a national award from the president, and we were excited to celebrate her achievements, but she was learning in her life that she wanted to set a life for some student. So we were busy in our excitements to celebrate her awards, but she was busy in preparing a world for that guy. And she was learning from them that it is not only the teaching going to help them, but also their family problems need to be attended. It's very easy to get upset on the students if they don't do the homework, if they fail, but it's very difficult to learn where they go wrong and to understand where they go wrong and learn from the life experience, because it's not only the studies which are going to make you perfect, but also these moral obligations which are there with the society, which makes you not only a better teacher, but also something greater than that. That's what she had been doing in her whole life. And she's, of course, no more. But she left those steps for us, which we are also learning. As you said, we have to learn, put our efforts twice, and then before we teach to somebody. That's what I learned it from 3 people, and I'm teaching to my people, the juniors who are there. It's absolutely well said, and I'm the one who experienced much in my life. Thank you. Over to you, Table Topics Master.
Thank you, Toastmaster Lakshmi, for sharing your pedagogical roots with us. Right. Who is my next pedagogical victim? I choose distinguished Toastmaster Raj Mehta. Raj Mehta, are you ready?
I'm audible.
You are audible. Although your mic says you are not, but I'll ignore that since you are audible. Raj Mehta, the topic for you coming up on the chat box is.
I would say, please do not show the topic in the chat box. I would like to hear it carefully and then speak.
Okay. Raj Mehta, when you teach, you touch the future. When you teach, you touch the future, Raj Mehta.
Thank you, Table Topic Master, distinguished Toastmaster Rupinder Singh. Someone has rightly said that students are the future. And when we talk about students, it doesn't mean the students who go to colleges or schools. Students may be anybody. If I consider myself, I'm also a teacher. I might not be going to schools, but I'm teaching the budding entrepreneurs in my incubator. They are there to learn many things. What they have in their mind is the idea and the technological competence with which they hope to develop that idea into a product or process or service or maybe a system. But who will take that idea to the ground, to the commercial level? That is me. I would be helping them, I would be mentoring them, I would be teaching them the management skills, the marketing skills, the HR the difficulties which they have to face, and the financial crunches which they may require to face in future. Because just having the idea is not enough. That's why when we say that if we are teaching, we are making the future people who shall be taking the future or the present to the future, which shall be of use, of benefit to the generation which shall be coming in future. So when I say that if we are teaching somebody, we are definitely creating future teachers who shall in turn shall be making more teachers and more students shall be benefit. Thank you very much.
Thank you, distinguished Toastmaster Raj Mehta. Next, I would like to call on stage a person who's been a teacher until now. May I request Toastmaster Pratima Razdan, our grammarian, to take up the stage, please.
Rupinder, I would like to skip it today. I have a bad throat.
I'm sorry to hear that. In that case, I will now move over to distinguished Toastmaster Shaurendra Bhomik. Please grace us with the table topic. Shaurendra, please can you confirm your audio video check?
Yeah, I'm there. Can you hear me?
Sure. Topic for you, do you want me to copy paste it?
Your choice.
Okay, I'm copy pasting it just the same. Shaurendra Bhomik, the whole purpose of education is to turn mirrors into windows. The whole purpose of education is to turn mirrors into windows.
Thank you so much. Rupinder, the topic that you've given is not a very simple point of view. Every one of us have this tendency to show a mirror to people, telling them where they went wrong. Very few of us actually tell them that if they have gone wrong, where did they go wrong? And how can they improve on it? A simple example that I would like to share in this Toastmasters forum is how often when we are evaluating people, we sit in judgment and tell people where they went wrong. But how many times have we gone beyond that and opened a vista wherein we have been able to explain to them that if they had gone wrong, what should they be doing so that they can actually get over the problem? Time and again, this is where we need ourselves to come out of that negative attitude and be positive by helping the other person to improve. Very often, I have also seen teachers telling kids that you haven't done this, you haven't done this. But I can tell you that I have of late got a lot of feedback from people based on a particular article that I had written recently, where teachers have actually got back to me and said, some of the points that you mentioned about how we can help the teacher, the students in improving themselves is very well articulated. And therefore, I felt so good that I have done something for people. But if you don't open up the window, show what is actually required, how you can improve yourself, how can you be a teacher? Because you have to teach, not find faults. And if you are going to do that, I'm sure every student will remember that. Don't you remember just a few teachers from your school and colleges? And do you know why? Because they taught you much beyond just pointing fingers at you and looking at the world much beyond. Over to you, Table Topic Master. Thank you.
Thank you. Our timer is having some challenges sharing her background. I would request her to type green, yellow, red in the chat box. And I would request everyone to please keep an eye out. Yeah, please keep an eye out for whatever is coming in the chat. And we are up to our last topic today. And at this point, I will ask for a volunteer. because anyone who wants to give a topic, who wants to take a topic. This is the last topic, else I will pick up a name. Okay, I am going to go with Toastmaster Kapil. I'm going to spotlight you, Kapil. Are you ready? Kapil, can you do a quick audio video check?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, Kapil. And here is your topic coming up on the screen. Kapil, a teacher can create 10 CEOs, but 10 CEOs cannot create a teacher. A teacher can create 10 CEOs, but 10 CEOs cannot create a teacher.
Right. I don't know, but I'm pretty sure that teachers can create chartered accountants because my parents are teachers, both of my parents. And you very rightly said that teachers can create many CEOs. I read somewhere that in Japan, they pay huge respect to teachers. So if any teacher is standing in a queue, everybody will leave their place and they will ask that teacher to come forward. That is why, I mean, they have a huge respect for teachers. And I wish we could get the same respect in India as well, because in India, teaching is a low paying job, but I think it deserves a high stature. Now, teachers can create CEOs, certainly. My cousin, he studied in IIMs, and his teachers were so brilliant, they did not go for IIM exam themselves. Rather, they chose to teach teachers. They chose to teach students who can become CEOs of the world. Why? I guess it is all because of the passion they have towards teaching. Because if this satiate your internal feelings, then of course teaching is such a noble profession. In IIT also, I'm sure Raj must be aware of it, that some teachers are way too intelligent to crack any exam of the world, but they still chose teaching as a profession because they want to create kingmakers. They want to be a catalyst to create CEOs who can change the world. So certainly, I am with you when you say that teachers can create CEOs, but CEOs cannot create teachers. Over to you.
Thank you, Kapil. And with that, we come to the end of the table topics session. I would like to specially thank General Evaluator Toastmaster Lisa for giving me permission to continue the table topics up to 9:15, without which we would have had only about 3 table topics. But today we were able to have 5. The other topics that I had was that teaching is not a lost art, but a regard for it is a lost tradition. And good teachers make themselves progressively unnecessary. And the last one was, if a child cannot learn the way we teach, maybe we should teach the way a child learns. I will now launch the polls for the best table topics speaker. And with that, I hand it over to our Toastmaster of the meeting. So over to you, Amit. Amit, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm very much here.
I'm getting results rather than any option to.
That's because you're a co-host.
Okay.
Amit, do you want to get started? Or do you want me to take over?
Can you please take over, because I've...
No worries. At this stage, I would like to hand it over to our general evaluator, who's been our pedagogical compass, and I would spotlight our Toastmaster our general evaluator of the meeting, Toastmaster Alisa Schneider.
Thank you so much, Rupinder, for guiding us in that moment. Now, I would like to share a picture before we continue, but I see that it is not coming up. That is okay.
You can
There is
share
a
a picture now. You can share a picture now.
It's not, no, it's fine. It's not on my screen. There is a picture of two people on a mountain. One is higher than the other. The other reaches out and extends his hand to lift the other person up. Now, here in Toastmasters, as mentioned before, we are all students. None of us are teachers. Some of us are mentors, but essentially we're here to help one another. Whether we're a little further along the path or whether we're still catching up, each person here in Toastmasters says, let me give you a hand and help you up and move forward. And that's exactly what evaluation is. It's all about how can I help you reach your goals in public speaking and move to the next step, get to the next level where you want to be. And that's what we will be doing through our evaluations of the speeches, as well as when we present the reports of the timer, grammarian, and awe counter and general evaluation. We hope to help you and give you a hand up so you can keep moving forward and reaching your goals. In order to do that, I'm going to call on several evaluators who were carefully paying attention this morning as they listened to the speeches. And first up, we have our first evaluator, who is Naveen, evaluating, correct me if I'm wrong, evaluating the first speech by Raj Mehta, the accident. With that, we'll pass it over to Naveen.
Good morning, good evening, fellow Toastmasters and distinguished Toastmaster Raj Mehta. Distinguished Toastmaster Raj, you are a natural storyteller, and your story of the accident, we could make it out that it had all the ingredients required for storytelling. We could feel your narration with all the key elements of storytelling, that is the place, person, plot, problem, and finally the resolution. And that is what storytelling is all about. And that is what was required in this particular project. And you met the objectives as I was engaged while you were narrating your story. You had used appropriate words to create vivid imageries for the scene of the accident. And we could feel the excruciating pain when you described and said that pain will be pain on left elbow. Yes, this is an element of storytelling, that is, you create vivid imageries in the mind of people. The resolution part of the storytelling, which was the healing process, was also described appropriately when you mentioned that Dr. Poonam Shah delivered the prognosis about the timeline it would take and the plastering and the manner in which she did the plastering. And of course, that really got us engaged on what are the after effects while any accident really takes place. Now, it is said that facts tell and stories sell. Now, how do these stories really sell? So for that, I would like to give you certain recommendations that how you could make this good speech a real great one. The first thing which you might consider, or you could have considered adding, were describe the feeling. Describe, I felt that you could have increased the impact by showing some feelings. For example, how did you feel when you heard, when your neighbor told you or informed you that your wife had met with an accident? It is very important for example, you could have said that the ground under my foot shook and I was totally bewildered. Secondly, you could have also expressed your feeling that when you saw your wife in the state of accident. For example, you could have said, I heard the sound of moaning and I was totally bewildered and I was saddened by seeing the state. And lastly, I felt that the ending was a bit abrupt because I really could not catch that what is the call to action. In case of storytelling, the call to action lies in the moral of the story. So I felt that if you could have expressed what is the moral of the story or the takeaway message for the audience, that could have really created an impact for the story. And overall, I was totally mesmerized by the way you narrated your story. But nevertheless, if you could just add some feelings and add some moral to the story, it would have become a wonderful takeaway message for all of us, and we would have remembered your story. Thank you, distinguished Toastmaster Raj.
Thank you so much, Naveen. That was an outstanding evaluation. That was an exemplary evaluation, which we'll get to later. But thank you so much for providing your feedback and allowing the speaker to get to that next level. Up next, I'd like to call on our second evaluator for this morning. Lakshmi. Lakshmi is with us today, and we're so thankful that you've joined us. We appreciate you taking on the role and supporting us in these meetings. Thank you, Lakshmi. I look forward to the evaluation.
It's a pleasure. Thank you, General Evaluator. Every grandmother is an encyclopedia and a treasure of storytelling. I don't know from where they get so much of stories and all. I'm quoting a grandmother's story on this storytelling path was the splendid idea by the speaker. Well done. The starting, I mean, you start a speech with any date or any question makes the audience charge of the early morning, in the early morning, for me, of course, to get yourself into the speech. Well done. And I was eagerly waiting to hear what next. With an excellent hand gestures, voice modulation, and magnificent face expressions, the story was definitely progressing on a very high spirit and high way. The message that you gave with God's blessings, even a no person without anything can achieve something in life or something great in the life with the excellent message what you gave. Complementing with the clappings of these Makan, I don't know, the thing began was killing the mosquitoes, but still it was a great charged up one for us and made me sit at the edge of my seats. Thank you. But every story need to have certain makeup or touch-up. I felt the speaker was trying to read the story in between, so he was missing the audience, the connection. So even I was missing, so which the speaker can avoid that. Or with the voice modulations in between was going little flat. Probably he was trying to read, so the voice modulation was going little flat in between. And finally, the message, actual message he was trying to give was going, he was finishing it on an abrupt mode, keeping in view the timings. I guess he was exceeding his timings. So I would request the speaker to practice in future, and so that he can give the message also and can finish his speech in a better way, in a smooth way, so that the message can be given to us in a strong, because that's what the takeout from the speech is very important, as you know. Overall, it's a great speech. Yes, definitely the story. I really enjoyed the jumps from mosquitoes to elephant to lion, to donkey to lion. And finally, he became the higher of the throne, which was a great articulated story. But with certain makeup and then with the touch-ups, the story can get into the academy level. I wish all the very best, speaker, for your future speeches. Thank you, and over to you, General Evaluator of the Day.
Thank you so much, Lakshmi, for that exceptional evaluation. I loved how you brought so much energy and enthusiasm. You kept us all captivated with your comments, accommodations, and recommendations. Thank you so much. Last but not least, we have our third evaluator, Kapil, who will be evaluating the speech for Khushbu, her speech title being My Journey to Achieve Self-Confidence. Over to you, Kapil.
Thank you, Alisa. So Khushbu, it was good to know you, and it was a great speech. You started off very well. And I know from experience that being natural is the hardest thing in public speaking. And you were very close to being natural today. In your speech objective, there was a note for an evaluator, and that states that listen for the ways the mentor grew or did not grew from the experience. Now, I know that I gave you a couple of recommendations in your earlier speeches that you should try to challenge yourself by standing up and delivering your speech. And I'm glad that you took up that challenge today and you delivered wonderfully well. Secondly, you used to have a mic that was very close to your mouth. And because of that, we used to hear a lot of breathlessness sounds. So I'm glad that you did not choose that particular mic. But having said that, even though you did not choose that mic, if your breathlessness sounds were still coming, even though it was not overwhelming, but still it were coming. And especially it was quite, the frequency of breathlessness got increased in the later part of the day, later part of your speech. I don't know why, because it could be because of nervousness, but it should not be a reason for you, Khushbu, because you were very confident when you started off. I don't know what made you nervous in the later part of your speech, and that triggers all those breathlessness sounds. Now I see marked improvement if I compare this speech with your previous speeches. So you met the objective of your speech today. I would like to give one more recommendation, or rather one more suggestion, that just take a deep breath when you start your speech, because I think this has been a continuous issue with you, and I know that you are trying to get rid of this breathlessness thing, but I'm sure that you are quite near to eradicate this kind of issue in your speech, because you started off very well. It was great speech. I couldn't find, for the first 3-4 minutes, I couldn't find a flaw in your speech, but then you gave me a reason for some recommendations. So be mindful of that in your next speeches, and all the best, Khushbu. Thank you. Over to you, Alison.
Thank you so much, Kapil. That was a very analytical evaluation, and that is a skill that we all do well to use in our evaluations, where we look for different points and how they applied and how they worked out in a speech. Pros and cons. That's what it's all about. Thank you so much to our Zoom master for presenting the evaluation polls. Please choose who you thought was the best evaluator, and later we will discover the results. Now, let me find my notes here. It is time to proceed into it's what we call the evaluation for table topics. Now, I am going to check and make sure, yes, excellent. Very well. 5 table topics, 5 minutes. Timer, please do time me and give me that 5-minute count. Thank you. For table topics today, we had excellent, outstanding speakers. Naveen, you answered the question, teaching what counts is more important than teaching to count. And what I really appreciated about your topic is how you employed different gestures, which is often lost. We're so focused on speaking in an impromptu manner, we forget that we can use our hands to allow the audience to engage with our message. But you used your gestures effectively. You brought in a story of Toastmasters and how you could learn new aspects, how you understood that that was important. And then you gave us a thorough conclusion, linking back to the main topic. Recommendations would include eye contact. I felt at times you were looking perhaps at the audience, and so we lost that direct touch with you as the speaker. Another recommendation might be to try and tie in a little more to the main topic, which was teaching. You spoke to us about learning and how you decide to learn different aspects, but the topic was teaching. So maybe tie in a little bit further how you could do that. All in all, wonderful job, great gestures, excellent story. Topic number 2, Lakshmi. To teach is to learn 2 times over. I like how right from the start you jumped in and you told us there are 3 people in my life who are teachers, so I can speak to this topic. And then you told us about your mother and how she learns from her students. And I really appreciated that you tied into the theme about how your mother is indeed learning from her students, and you really kept us on topic in your table topic. Recommendations would include telling us a little bit more. You mentioned 3 people at the beginning of your topic, maybe telling us a little bit more about each one. So you spoke about your mother, perhaps you could speak about the other 2. Give us a few more specifics. What stories did they go through? How did they learn from their students? And then come back to the conclusion, remind us about the 3 people, give us a summary, and then finalize. Again, great job. I love how you jumped in very quickly. You were ready to go. For a third speaker, we had Raj. Raj, your topic was when you teach, you touch the future. And you did give us some examples. You talked a little bit philosophically about how that works and how it plays out. And then you started discussing how you've seen, if I understood correctly, students in your own life and how they've been able to learn, and you touch the future when you touch their lives. So I felt you did really connect to your topic, and you were expressive and kept us engaged. One recommendation would be to include a few gestures, because as we said, we have the whole screen to play with. And I felt like, again, it's easy to get focused on our words and forget the gesture. So maybe just adding a few in when you could talk about different students that you had, or in the past or in the future, and that way draw us in. And maybe just a slight example of maybe a student whose life you were able to touch, or someone that you know whose life was touched, just to tie it all in and give us something personal to connect with, an emotion. But overall, fantastic job. Challenging topics, but you did it wonderfully. Speaker number 4, Surendra. Whole purpose of education is to turn mirrors into windows. This was a tough one, and I was waiting to see how you were going to have it play out. And I loved how you took that topic and spoke to us about how we can be mirrors. We can just tell people what they're doing wrong and not tell them what they're doing right. This is a strange recommendation, but I kept hearing you use the phrase, how they go wrong, how they go wrong. And my ear was listening for that sentence where you said, let's show them how they can go right. And I wondered if you would have been interesting to add that in and have the contrast between how they go wrong and how we can help them to go right. Final recommendation, the topic did mention window. Perhaps try to bring that into your topic a little more and do that contrast between mirrors and windows. But this was a tough one. So many congratulations. You took that to another level and really brought about a theme that I had not even considered for that topic. Well done. Last but not least, couple. Topic number 5, a teacher can create 10 CEOs, but 10 CEOs cannot create a teacher. Boy, you sure jumped right into this one. You talked to us about parents, about teachers, Japan. You brought in a lot of different topics that were relevant to the theme, and you did it so flawlessly. It was all connected, it flowed, it really did. So many congratulations. One recommendation would be to connect back to the main theme. So you mentioned a topic when you said Japan and how they respect the teachers. And it's hard in table topics to connect, but if you could have added a sentence saying in Japan, they respect the teachers, and then bring us back to the topic, because they know that 10 CEOs cannot create a teacher, but a teacher can create 10 CEOs. So try to draw us back in so we remember where we are and why we're talking about Japan, just a little bit of a tie-in. But boy, you sure hit that topic on a lot of different points. And so many congratulations for that. Having said that, that concludes our table topic evaluation. And now, according to the agenda, it is time to introduce several other role players who have been carefully taking note throughout the meeting and who are ready to present their findings. As always, helping each other out, because here we're all students in the School of Life, and what we want is to give you a hand up and take you to the next level. To do that, we're going to call on our grammarian, Pratima, for her report. Over to you, Pratima.
Thank you so much, General Evaluator Elisa. Am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Thank you so much. And please excuse me, I shall be keeping my camera switched off because today I'm under the weather. So please excuse me for that. So we'll begin with the general evaluator, Elisa herself. And I would like to say that as a grammarian, I thoroughly enjoyed listening to you. In my opinion, I felt you were flawless, Elisa. So I would firstly like to mention that. Moving on, talking about the word of the day. The word of the day was pedagogy, and it was used overall 5 times by Elisa, Lakshmi, and Rupinder. Talking about the speeches for the day, the prepared speeches, I had a great time evaluating the speeches with respect to the grammar aspect. So I'll begin with the speech of Toastmaster Surendra. Your speech, Toastmaster Surendra, was completely entertaining and very captivating in terms of the language usage. You used the beautiful pedagogy of storytelling and painted a wonderful visual imagery with your words. For example, Tismar Khan attacked and punched the elephant to submission. Your intonation was exemplary. A loud sound. Wah, the roar of the lion. Overall, I felt that in terms of the grammar usage and language usage, you did an exemplary job. Talking about Speaker Khushbu, in my opinion, you spoke with determination and conviction, and you had some good vocabulary and some rhyme to your advantage when you used words like incubation, acceleration, and stagnation. A bit of a recommendation which I have over here, which I also happened to learn from Elisa in one of the meetings. Elisa rightly pointed out in one of the meetings as to how we can replace words like very, and we can use words like truly, amazingly, stunningly, instead of the word very. So similarly, on the same lines, I would like to say that speakers should avoid using the word so much. It's not technically incorrect, but a better replacement would be extremely, intensely, terribly, extraordinarily. So it would be great if our speakers could avoid using the word so much. Talking about the table topics, I had a great time again evaluating as a grammarian. Toastmaster Naveen, you had a great beginning when you said that not everything that we count is countable. You also had a reverberating impact when you used words like much more impactful, much more influential. So I felt that really got stuck with the audience. Please excuse me. Toastmaster Lakshmi, again, great opening sentence. Who else can understand it better? Talking about Toastmaster Raj Mehta, I think you used appropriate vocabulary. Your pace was pretty fine, and so was your intonation. Toastmaster Surendra, it almost felt like this was not an impromptu speech, but a prepared speech on your part. You used some excellent vocabulary to your advantage and some exemplary phrases like to show a mirror to people, don't open up a window. And overall, I really liked your speech, which I felt was more solution oriented in its approach. Toastmaster couple, again, appropriate vocabulary and phrases. I really liked some of the words that you used, like satiated, stature, catalyst, so on, which helped in but better explaining the topic that you were talking about. So overall, I had a great time evaluating all of you as the grammarian. And just one recommendation I would like to reinforce again, that if we could replace the word very with words like truly, amazingly, like how Elisa had said in one of the meetings, And if you could also replace the words so much with better substitutes, with more appropriate substitutes like extremely, intensely, terribly, and so on. That was my report. And thank you so much. Back to you, General Evaluator Elisa.
Thank you so much, Pratima, for that thorough report and for reminding us how we have things to work on, but then you also told us how we can improve. I appreciate taking actually Surinder's lesson into account and how we can continue working forwards, reaching our goals. Now I'd like to call on the next report given by Sumit for our counter. I'm curious to know what our meeting looked like today. Over to you, Sumit.
Thank you, Elisa. Becoming a great orator is not an easy task. And one of the mistakes to avoid is not using the filler words, which reduces the impact of our speech. Today, I'll showcase some of my report that I have prepared for all. Give me a minute. Is my report visible? Okay.
It is. We can see it.
I think we are improving with time, and today we have overall 44 crutch words till now. Rupinder, I was able to find one in your table topic as a table topic master, which is an achievement for me. And Elisa, I also was able to find one crutch word in your overall delivery up till now. Surendra sir has done a wonderful job that in speech as well as in the table topic, there was no crutch word used by Surendra sir. Raj Mata has not used any crutch word in table topics. Amit has used 10 crutch words where some bit of improvement is needed. Kapil has used overall 7 crutch words as an evaluator. And that's mostly take us to about 22 3 and about 14 repeat words. And this is my overall report for everybody's understanding. That's all from my side. Elisa, over to you.
Thank you so much, Sumit, for such a thorough report. It's excellent to be able to see on screen exactly what you're speaking about so that we each know where we can look forward to working on for next time. Thank you. And last but not least, as always, we'll have our timers report by Sumangal. Very important that we stay hold of time. Over to you, Sumangal.
Hello, am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Thank you, General Evaluator, for giving me this opportunity to evaluate the time for everyone. Let me share my screen. Is my report visible?
Yep, it is.
So from the timing points of view, we had like a decent meeting today, starting from General Evaluator Elisa Yu. For the table topic specifically, you took for the evaluating of 5 table topics, you took almost 5 minutes, 14 seconds. That was great. Coming to the speakers, we have 1 disqualification in the speaker. The Toastmaster Surinder exceeded the time limit from 10 minutes to 14 minutes. That we have to we can consider for the improvement. For the speech evaluator, the timing was under the given range, like 3 given the grace period range for the Naveen and Lakshmi. For the table topics as well, I haven't seen any disqualification and they were well within the given timing range of 1 to 2 minutes. So this was my report for the today's meeting. I hope. Back to you, the General Evaluator.
Thank you so much, Sumangal. I appreciate about your report that the way you have it outlined in different colors, yellow and orange, makes it easy to see what is happening on your screen and be able to focus right in on the information required. So thank you again, really appreciate that. And now, according to the agenda, it is time for our general evaluation, which I will try to make short and sweet. Let's vote very quickly here. Best auxiliary role player before we start with the GE. This is always a tough one. Everybody does such an amazing job. We'll give you 2 more seconds to vote, and then we will move on to the general evaluation, which is 5 minutes. So Pratima, please, or sorry, Sumanga, please do time me once I am able to get started. Okay, perfect. Let's do this. Friends, what an outstanding meeting we had this morning or this evening, depending on your time zone. Wow, our Sergeant at Arms started right off the bat, reading the rules, took over because our Sergeant of Arms, Sheila, was not able to be here. Started on us on time. Fantastic. Our presiding officer, I loved your beautiful introduction for the Toastmaster. It really made me feel excited about what was coming next. Really well done, and you introduced the guest. As for our Toastmaster of the day, wow, so much to comment. The theme was very well prepared. There were a number of phrases that I thought were outstanding. One was, the world is a vast canvas on which to paint and learn together. That was fantastic. I also loved how Amit quoted different facts and throughout the meeting to keep us engaged and remember what our topic was, where we were headed. I appreciate that he asked for feedback. He remembered to do that after the speeches. And also the fact that he used different gestures to get us engaged, focused, and primed. Recommendations would include adjusting the screen. I felt like he was looking somewhere else, and so I couldn't feel that connection like he was speaking to me. Recommendation then, adjust the screen and try to look straight into the camera. Even if you're reading, keep the script right below you so that it still looks like you're looking into the camera. Another recommendation would be when he goes into the first section or second section to make sure he explains, now we're going into the speech section, so that the audience understands what's happening in the meeting and just gives us a heads up. Overall, fantastic job for the Toastmaster. We love all the themes that keep us engaged. Timer, wonderful job showing us the different cards and explaining the rule at the beginning and the grace period. Quick recommendation, and this is tough to consider. When a speaker goes over, start after the 30 seconds of grace, either start switching colors or maybe give an audible signal that the time is ended so that they're aware and they can finish wherever they are. That's tough recommendation. You can decide whether to use it or not, but that would be a thought. A fantastic job. Otherwise, all counter, I loved at the beginning how you included the theme into your explanation of your role. That was very well done. And later give us a thorough report. Grammarian, excellent job as well, giving us examples, the background, and then at the end, explaining how we can work and improve our own vocabulary. Recommendation for the grammarian would be to maybe choose a different color for the background, as it can contrast, it can confuse us between the timer and the grammarian. And also to put the word larger on the screen so it's just huge, it's right there where we can visualize and see it. But again, thorough report, and I think we all understand what we did well and then where we can work on. For the table topic master, that was very well done with the different phrases. You included them in the chat so we all knew what the question was. And I appreciate how you asked if you could have extra time and reminded us of the word of the day. It was all very well done. Recommendations, I don't know, you could throw in a visual just to grab our attention, but it was, that was very well done, very well done. In terms of our evaluators, wow, what a delectable treat of evaluations we had with us today, as our evaluators took on that role of, well, they're helping us out. Maybe they're not teachers, but they're further along and they're helping us out how the speakers can each improve. Naveen, wow. What I loved about your evaluation, so many things. You mentioned the place, person, plot, problem, resolution. You were very specific, very concise. And not only when you gave commendations, but recommendations, you explained and gave examples, specific examples. When you said, these are the words you used and gave us examples. This is how I felt connected. Here's a recommendation you could change for this phrase. You were so specific, excellent. Only recommendation, and this is nitpicking, would be to try to find a captivating introduction, which can then be also a conclusion and just grab our attention a little more at the beginning, but that is just nitpicking. Second evaluator, Lakshmi. Wow, again, I loved your energy, your enthusiasm. You let us know what the objectives were and that the speaker had met the objectives. You had great vocal variety as well, and you got us engaged in your evaluation. One recommendation for you would be to be specific. You mentioned gestures and you mentioned vocal variety, but give the speaker examples of what specific gestures they use or how they raise their voice. And in the recommendations, you said the message had an abrupt finish, or you read the story and I missed the connection. And just once again, bring in some examples of how they can make those little changes to take their speech to another level. And again, just be specific. But overall, enthusiasm, great. You mentioned objectives, fantastic. And last but not least, Kapil, you, like I said, you went in and you just were very analytical. You really had that speech down. And I really appreciated how you compared the progress of the speaker from past speeches to present. And that can be so encouraging because we're always wanting to know that we've improved since the last time. Recommendation would be perhaps it's tough, but maybe try to give another recommendation so the speaker has more to work on. For example, at the beginning, the speaker had quite a long introduction and was looking down for a long while without having eye contact. So maybe encouraging them to look up to the screen a little sooner or finding a way to break the script and have that connection. But again, fantastic job, very analytical, and you gave the feedback for the speaker to continue improving. Having said that, I think we've covered everything. We are a little bit over time, so I will finish now and hand it over to our, in this case, table topic master, as our Toastmaster has had to vacate the premises. I hope that this has been helpful. We are all looking to learn from the different teachers of this world. And if you are going to be a teacher, there's always someone that is going to be a learner. And having said that, thank you again, and over to you, Toastmaster Rupinder.
Thank you. This meeting has been a pedagogical delight, and I look forward to many more such theme meetings. For the record, I started out as a teacher in the very same school that I taught, and here I am. I still miss my teaching days though, because I started out teaching kids, and I found that if I can teach 3 to 5 year olds, I can teach almost anyone in the world, which is why I still have 10 people still glued to this Zoom sets listening to me. Well, I will not take much of your time. I will spotlight our presiding officer who will take it over from here.
Thank you, Rupinder. Thank you so much. Following the rituals of our Toastmasters meeting, let me take feedback from our guests, starting from Naveen.
Yeah. Hello. Yeah. It was a wonderful session, and all the speakers were eloquent, and they were all wonderful, and I enjoyed listening to all the 3 speeches. And of course, storytelling is something which always keeps me engaged, and luckily all 3 were storytellers today, and that's why I was glued to the screen. Thank you. Wonderful session. Thanks for inviting me.
Keep coming, Naveen. We missed you. Okay, Lakshmi.
Hi, I'm sorry, not able to switch on my video because I'm traveling, and it's a wonderful thing. Thank you so much for inviting me. And it's again, as Naveen said, storytelling is the most important part in our life. That's what we did. We had 3 different stories, different types of stories, and it's a complete entertainment. Thank you for inviting me, and look forward to seeing you all again and again. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Sumit, you want to take some roles for the next week?
Can we have the role for the next week?
Can you give me feedback?
Okay.
Yeah,
sorry.
Raj is missed. Yeah, he is a guest still. He has not joined us.
I'm always confused whether to treat you as a guest or a member.
You're right.
You're
right. The point is that today it's not a feedback. I want to take opinion from all of you. There are 2 types of movies. In one type of movies, there is a story that a boy got married, then they get married, then they live happily ever after. And another type of movie in which the story is that there are robbers, they have looted some bank, and then they fight amongst each other and kill each other. But one of them, who is the most innocent person, takes away the booty. Okay. Which type of movies do you like more?
You're asking if you like love stories or if you like action
No,
movies.
I want to ask, what type of end do you like the most? End of the movie.
Both are happy endings. So
Happy endings.
Happy
Both-
endings are loved.
Positive message.
I had attended a module on storytelling in which the module master told me, or with the audience, that if you leave the audience at the peak of the emotions, that gives a better storytelling. And this is what I did in my story, because my last sentence was that my wife or we lost a fetus in that accident.
Okay.
So was it good thing to tell? I had
I
given
felt
a
it
very
was
good-
abrupt.
I had
Yeah.
given.
I
given
felt
a
it
very-
was abrupt.
Yeah, same here. And that is the reason I'd also, in my evaluation also, I mentioned that is, I really couldn't catch the ending part because, like, I mean, frankly speaking, I couldn't even catch the last sentence of what you had mentioned. So that's why I felt a bit lost towards the end. That what was then? I mean, I just felt that someone had died, but who had died or what happened? So that thing, I mean, I wasn't able to catch it. Maybe it might be my fault also, but somehow I felt that the end wasn't very clear.
Little
Raj,
bit
I thought
extra,
the
little
twists
bit.
that you
I
got.
had just a minute. I had given a hint that when we were traveling from the accident spot to the hospital, my wife had intermittently pain at the lower end of the stomach. Something was happening there, and at the end of the story, I told that she had lost a fetus of 2 months in the accident, which was the real outcome of the story. See, I'm not arguing with Naveen or anybody else.
Yeah,
I'm just telling
I
you,
think, Raj,
it's good to leave the people on the high of the emotions.
yes, Raj, the twist that you brought about was really good, but I thought it had to be a little more explained. It should have been left at that level, a little more into it. And therefore, you could have had one opportunity where you could have said that I remember this accident because we lost a child
Yep.
who we had been, looking forward to or something at that point, so that the thought gets embedded into people's mind.
True.
You have fine.
Yep.
But I loved your speech and the twists and turns. Absolutely.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. This is what I wanted to discuss now. Because you can take it further.
I would also like to say, when you go storytelling, and especially when you remember your grandmother's stories, sometimes time becomes immortal, and therefore you can't hold yourself back. But let me tell you frankly, the pain which was that I'm facing now is it was so difficult with thing. But I'm happy that at least I've done, and I would like to now do another of this within the time period.
Okay, I was wondering, after completing my speech, I started from my home, and when I was in my office, your speech was still going on. So I was just wondering, does it take only 10 minutes for me to come to my office?
It takes 15 minutes. Now you know.
Now
Now
I
it
know.
takes 15 minutes. You know that.
Raj, you are replacing Charan sir's speech with the timepiece.
Yeah. And Rupinder is so serious today. I don't know why.
I'm making a poster while you're speaking.
Okay.
Role for the next week, Elisa, what would you take?
Is Table Topic Master available?
Yes, everything is available.
Perfect. I will take that.
I can take your speech.
Raj,
Make sure
sir?
you all prepare yourselves mentally and emotionally.
Yeah, you're not giving me a topic. I did not give you a topic today. So
Raj, sir, you are taking a speech?
Evaluator.
Evaluator. Okay. speeches from who? Anybody for speech?
Can I redo another speech just because today I overshot the time?
I think yes. Why not? We have
Again,
a
on
speech.
storytelling. I'll just repeat, but with another story.
Okay, sure. Anyone for another speech or evaluation role? Naveen?
I
any?
will take general evaluation or evaluator, whatever is available.
Sure, Khushbu. I'm putting it for general evaluator.
Okay.
Can I get back after a few days, because I'm really not sure how I'm placed on next week, Wednesday morning.
Sure.
I shall-
Message me. I'll put it on the agenda.
Yeah, sure. I'll do that. Just give me a few days and I'll let you.
Sure. Kapil?
Sumit, I think timer or our counter, I'm a bit tied up at work this week.
Do let me know. I'll discuss with
Anything
you.
you can freeze here only. Our counter. You may pick up.
Okay. I think we are done with the rule taking. Okay. Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.
Sundar, you want to
So,
share your results?
We need
yeah.
we need to know that we have to renew our membership this month.
So I'm coming to that. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll share the results. So here we go. So our top 3 table topic speakers for today, starting from many congratulations, Lakshmi K. Raman, for becoming the third best speaker. Then second best speaker was Sharendra Bhaumik. That was indeed not an easy topic. I would not have wanted to receive that. And the best speaker, the king returns, I will say, Naveen Parwal. And Naveen, you should hold on because you are also our best speech evaluator. So many congratulations there also. The best auxiliary role player is a role that makes me happy when they win this award, the R counter, Sumit Juneja. And the best role player is dressed like a Jedi, and the force was with her. Best speaker was Khushbu Chaukhani. The best role player was actually Alisa Schneider. May the force be with you. Thank you very much. I will stop sharing the screen. Do you want me to stop the recording as well, Kapil? I can't hear you.
I think you should repeat it so that if people hear it, they will know about the renewal.
Okay, the recording is on.
Okay. Sure. So I want to share a club goal sheet with you all. Okay. Now we need to complete all these goals. So just wanted to apprise you all with what is the current status we have. So regarding education goals, we have still a lot of work to do. I think we have few new members, so we can expect some level 1 awards and level 2 awards from them. And if some of you have not filed your nominations in the tool, you should please do that. Regarding membership, yes, certainly we need to add one more member to achieve the goal, but we need to add more members to be on the path of receiving Golden Gavel. Club officer trained June to August. Yes, we all 7 are trained. This goal is complete. Club officer trained, so this will come later. Now membership renewal dates on time. Yes, so we have a renewal month going on, so we need to renew our membership. So sooner we can do that. I think we need few membership, close to 8, to achieve this goal, but we all need to do it ASAP. Club officer list on time, yeah, we have already done that. So that is what I wanted to share with you all.
My feeling is that initially all the club officers should just get on to their Club Central and be able to put in their own renewals so that at least that gets done immediately.
Certainly.
Also, for our members from the United States, I have asked Sheila to help you out with your renewals. That way you do not have to
Yes.
sign in from India to make a payment in the United States when you are in
Sure.
the United States.
Sure.
Okay. I think that's it, unless anybody wants to share.
So we should reach out to Sheila for getting our membership renewed, or is it we can make payment on our own? How is it?
People
No,
in
Sheila
the
does it to
United
US.
States,
Okay.
people in the United States, people like Alisa, Anna, Sheila, Hope, possibly Shakti, if you want to get your membership renewed, you can reach out to Sheila. Earlier, they had to reach out to Sharendra, but I don't see the point because
No, not required.
effectively they are in the United States. They are renewing for in the United States, but they're using they're coming to India for that, which would be like cumbersome.
So
It's
much
like-
you can renew yourself. You can
It's
just
like-
get into Club Central and do it yourself for
Sure, sir.
yourself. You
Yeah.
can do it for Anshu, you can do it for yourself without any problem.
Yes.
And Surendra sir, a couple of months back, you told me that you have given my home address for some award.
Yeah,
I have not
yeah.
received anything yet.
Whenever it comes.
We'll have to, do you want me to stop
Check.
the recording?
Yeah, I think. we should.
Okay.
Khushbu, renewal is due for everyone.